The New World Order is not a modern invention. It did not start with the UN, nor with global bankers, nor with secret societies of the 18th century. The plan for a single government, a single currency, and a single religion was born more than 4,000 years ago on the dusty plains of ancient Mesopotamia, and it had a name, a face, and a crown: Nimrod. Most Christians know the name. He was a mighty hunter, they say. But the Bible hides between the lines of the original Hebrew a much more sinister profile of this man. He was not just a king. He was the first Gibborim, the first powerful man to emerge on the earth after the flood. He was the architect of the first organized rebellion against God. The man who looked at the sky and said, "We do not need you. We will build our own way to the stars." Many scholars believe that the Tower of Babel was not just a tall building made of bricks. If it were just a skyscraper, God would not have descended with such urgency to confuse the languages. There was something in that tower, a technology, a spiritual purpose, an attempt to open a dimensional portal that God had to close personally. Today, we are going to perform the autopsy of the first Antichrist in history. We will connect the dots between ancient Babylon of Nimrod and the mystery Babylon that is rising now before our eyes in global news. You will discover that the spirit of Nimrod never died. It only changed bodies through empires, from Pharaoh to Caesar, from Napoleon to Hitler, and now it is preparing for its final incarnation. Prepare your mind. What we are going to reveal today connects Genesis to Revelation in a way you never saw in Sunday school. History is repeating itself. The tower is being rebuilt, and you need to know where you are standing. For this reason, stay with me until the end of this video. The connection I will make in the conclusion between ancient Babylon and the current political scenario will open your eyes definitively. Before we begin to decipher the origin of the rebellion, leave your like. By doing this, you support this channel and help bring deep biblical knowledge to more people seeking answers. Chapter 1. The DNA of Rebellion. Who was Nimrod? To understand the Antichrist who is to come, we need to understand the Antichrist who has already been. The Bible presents Nimrod in Genesis chapter 10. The genealogy seems boring to many, but that is where the secrets are kept. Nimrod was the grandson of Ham. Ham was the son of Noah who was cursed, or whose lineage was affected after the incident of Noah's nakedness. The text says, Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. The Hebrew word used here for mighty one is Gibbor, the same word used in Genesis 6 to describe the giants born from the forbidden union between fallen angels and human women. This raises an immediate red flag for scholars. Some ancient texts and Jewish traditions suggest that Nimrod underwent some kind of transformation, that he began to be a Gibbor. Did he rediscover genetic or spiritual secrets from before the flood? We do not know for sure, but we know he became something supernaturally strong and charismatic. The name Nimrod comes from the Hebrew verb marad, which means to rebel. His name literally means, "Let us rebel." Imagine a mother looking at a baby and giving him the name Rebellion. This indicates the environment in which he grew up, an environment of hostility against the God of Noah. The Bible says he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. This sounds positive in our translation, as if God were approving of his hunting skills. But the original sense of the preposition before, lipne, can mean against or in defiance of. Nimrod was a hunter against the Lord. The Jewish historian Flavius Josephus, writing in the 1st century, gives us chilling details about the personality of Nimrod. Josephus says, "It was Nimrod who excited the people to such an affront and contempt of God. He persuaded men not to ascribe to God their happiness, but to believe that their own courage was the cause of their greatness. He gradually changed the government into a tyranny, seeing no other way of turning men from the fear of God, but to bring them into a constant dependence on his own power." Stop and think about this. Nimrod created the totalitarian state. Before him, humanity lived in tribal, family, and patriarchal structures. God was the direct leader through the fathers of families. Nimrod said, "No, you need me. I will protect you from the beasts of the field. I will build walls. I will give you food. But in exchange, you will give me your absolute loyalty." He built the first fortified city-states, Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh. He invented the war of conquest. He was the first imperialist. He told the men, "God destroyed your ancestors with water. He is a tyrant. If he tries to do that again, I will build a tower so high that the water will not be able to touch us. And we will go up there and take our revenge on him." Nimrod was not an atheist. He knew God existed. He simply hated God and wanted to take his place. He was the perfect prototype of the man Paul describes in 2 Thessalonians, the one who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God. Genesis 10 is not just ancient history, it is the enemy's operations manual. If you want to understand how the world system works, look at its foundation. The system was built on rebellion, pride, and the centralization of power in the hands of a single man. Chapter 2. The Technology of Babel. Was it just a tower? Now we reach the central event, the Tower of Babel. Genesis 11 begins with a phrase that is the dream of every modern globalist. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech, absolute unity, communication without barriers, the perfect setting for unlimited human progress. They moved toward the east and found a plain in the land of Shinar. Shinar is the region of Babylon, modern-day Iraq, the cradle of civilization, and curiously the cradle of idolatry. They said, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." This seems like an irrelevant technical detail, but it is crucial. In that region, constructions were made of sun-dried mud bricks. They were fragile. If a flood came, they would melt. But Nimrod introduced a new technology, the kiln-fired brick, hardened ceramic, waterproof, resistant to water. And they used bitumen, asphalt, as mortar. Why so much effort to make something waterproof? Because they still had the trauma of the flood in their collective memory. The tower was, in part, a defense mechanism against the judgment of God. If he sends water, we will be ready. But the main purpose goes far beyond civil engineering. They said, "Let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens." The traditional translation makes us think of a very tall building, but the expression "whose top is in the heavens" can have a much more spiritual and sinister connotation. The ziggurats of Mesopotamia, which are later replicas of that original tower, were temples. At the top of the ziggurat, there was a room, a portal. They believed that through rituals, sacrifices, and astrological alignments, the god would descend and meet with man at that top. Babel, in Akkadian Babilu, means gate of God. Nimrod did not want just to climb physically. He wanted to open a portal. He wanted to invade the spiritual dimension. He wanted to bring heaven to earth, but on his own terms. There are theologians and researchers who suggest that Babel was an attempt to use forbidden knowledge, perhaps passed on by the fallen angels before the flood, to access the celestial realm without holiness. It was a primitive portal made of rituals and sacred geometry. And what was God's reaction? This is fascinating. The Lord comes down to see and says something surprising. "Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them." God recognized the power of that union. He did not say, "Oh, how cute, they are stacking bricks." He said, "If I do not stop this now, they will manage to do the impossible, and this will accelerate the corruption of humanity to an irreversible level." God had to intervene surgically. He did not destroy the tower with lightning, although traditions say he did. The biblical text says he attacked communication. He confused the language. Suddenly, the architect did not understand the engineer. The foreman did not understand the mason. Chaos ensued. Mistrust was born. Factions were formed. They stopped the work and scattered over the face of the earth. This is how nations were born. This is how different cultures were born. It was not a slow anthropological evolution. It was an instant divine judgment to prevent the consolidation of absolute evil. God created nationalism, borders and languages as a break against the globalism of Nimrod. As long as there are separate nations, the power of the Antichrist is limited. He needs to negotiate, to wage war, to convince. But if the world becomes one again, as in Babel, the stage is set for the end. And what do we see today? The internet. English as a lingua franca, the connected global economy. The barriers that God placed in Genesis 11 are being torn down by modern technology. We are returning to Shinar. If you want to understand the signs of the times and not be deceived, subscribe to the channel now. Here we connect the ancient past to your immediate future. Chapter 3. The Mother of All Abominations. The influence of Nimrod did not stop at politics or architecture. His most poisonous legacy was religion. The Bible calls Babylon the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth in Revelation 17. If she is the mother, it means she gave birth to daughters. All false religions, all paganism, all the idolatry that spread through the world after the confusion of languages has its seed in Nimrod and his wife. Historical tradition and ancient legends, although the Bible does not explicitly name the wife, point to a powerful female figure at Nimrod's side. Many know her as Semiramis. The legend says that after Nimrod's death, some traditions say he was killed by Shem, the son of Noah, or by rivals. His body was cut into pieces. His wife needed to maintain power and invented a fantastic story. She claimed that Nimrod had not died but had become the sun god Baal, and then she appeared pregnant. How would she explain the pregnancy as a widow? She said she was impregnated by the rays of the sun, a supernatural conception. The son who was born was named Tammuz. She said Tammuz was the reincarnation of Nimrod, the promised son. Here was born the cult of the mother and child. Semiramis declared herself the queen of heaven, and she was worshipped with the child in her arms. When God confused the languages in Babel and the people scattered, they took this religion with them, only changing the names. In Egypt, Semiramis and Tammuz became Isis and Horus. In Greece, they became Aphrodite and Eros. In Rome, Venus and Cupid. In Phoenicia, Ashtoreth and Baal. It is the same entity, the same spiritual system of worship to a satanic trinity: the father Nimrod, the son, the mother Semiramis, queen of heaven, and the son Tammuz, the false messiah. Ezekiel, chapter 8, shows that this abomination even entered inside the temple in Jerusalem. The prophet saw women weeping for Tammuz inside the house of God. Jeremiah 44 speaks about the Jews burning incense to the Queen of Heaven. This is the root of all global idolatry. Nimrod did not want just to rule the bodies of men, he wanted their souls. He created a religious system that mimicked the true prophecy. God had promised in Genesis 3:15 that the seed of the woman would crush the head of the serpent. Satan, through Nimrod and Semiramis, created a cheap forgery of that prophecy thousands of years before Jesus was born to confuse humanity. They offered a false savior, a false miraculous birth, and a false queen of heaven. Babylon is not just a city in Iraq. It is a spiritual system that operates to this day. It is the system that says man can reach divinity through his own effort. It is the system that mixes politics and religion to control the masses. It is the system that persecutes the true prophets of God. Nimrod died millennia ago, but the spirit of Babylon is more alive than ever, and it is preparing for the final act. Chapter 4. The Resurrection of the Tower, Revelation 13. Have you looked at the European Parliament building in Strasbourg, France? It was deliberately designed to look like an unfinished tower. The architecture is based on the famous painting of the Tower of Babel by Peter Bruegel, and the official slogan of the European Union campaign once was, "Many tongues, one voice." They are not hiding it, they are announcing it. The global elite knows exactly what it is doing. They are trying to finish what Nimrod started in Genesis 11. In Genesis 11, they wanted a single government. Today, we call it globalism. In Genesis 11, they wanted a centralized economy. Today, we call it digital currency and financial reset. In Genesis 11, they wanted to touch the heavens. Today, we talk about transhumanism and the man-machine fusion. The Antichrist who is to come, described in Revelation 13, is Nimrod 2.0. Look at the terrifying similarities: centralized power. The beast receives power over every tribe, people, tongue, and nation, exactly like Nimrod in Shinar. Forced worship. Everyone will have to worship the image of the beast or die, exactly like the religious tyranny of Babylon. The mark of control. No one will be able to buy or sell without the mark. In Babel, if you were not part of the tower's construction system, you did not eat. You were excluded from the city. The spirit of the Antichrist is working feverishly to tear down national borders, destroy the sovereignty of countries, and create a crisis so great that humanity will plead for a new Nimrod, a strong leader, a gibber, someone who promises security in exchange for freedom, someone who says, "I will protect you from chaos. I will bring order. I will bring peace." But just as the first Tower of Babel fell, the last Babylon will also fall. Revelation 18 describes the fall of this final system. Babylon the Great is fallen. In 1 hour your judgment has come. The system that took 4,000 years to be rebuilt will be destroyed by the breath of the mouth of Jesus in a second. Nimrod was the first to try. The beast will be the last. But the end of the story is already written. The city that will remain forever is not the one men build to climb to heaven. It is the city that comes down from heaven from God, the New Jerusalem. The difference is fundamental. In Babel, man tries to go up to become God. In the New Jerusalem, God comes down to dwell with man. The religion of Nimrod is human effort, pride, and conquest. The gospel of Jesus is grace, divine descent, and sacrifice. You have to choose in which city you want to live. Conclusion. The investigation into Nimrod leaves us with an urgent warning. We live in the generation that is seeing the bricks of Babel being put back in place. Surveillance, technology, artificial intelligence, bioengineering, all of this is creating the infrastructure for the total control that Nimrod dreamed of, but did not have Wi-Fi to implement. His spirit haunts the halls of the UN, Davos, and the giant tech corporations. They say, "Let us make a name for ourselves." But God is looking down and he laughs. Psalm 2 says, "Why do the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves against the Lord and against his anointed. He who sits in the heavens shall laugh. You do not need to fear the new world order. If you belong to the kingdom that cannot be shaken, the tower will fall, the system will collapse, but those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved but abides forever." The final question is, whose mark are you carrying? Are you carrying the mark of the system, the desire to be accepted by Babylon, to climb the social and financial tower at any cost? Or do you carry the seal of the living God, the humility of one who knows they do not need to build a tower to reach heaven, because the way, the truth, and the life has already come down to us? I want you to perform a prophetic act now of separation from this system. If you decide not to bow to modern idols and the spirit of Nimrod, write in the comments, "I do not bow to Babylon." Declare it publicly. In a world walking toward the uniformity of evil, daring to be different is the greatest act of holy rebellion. And if this message opened your eyes to the spiritual reality of global politics, share this video. Many are sleeping, helping to carry bricks for the enemy's tower without knowing it. Wake them up. Keep your eyes open. The tower is rising, but the king is descending. May the Lord guard you from all deception and keep you firm on the rock and not on the shifting sands of Babel. Shalom.